welcome back, everybody, to Fresh from the Trollbox, the BitMEX Trader podcast, in our episode 25, together with our CEO, Stephan Lutz. And as always, we're going to talk about how this week was trading. Maybe not the most exciting week, but certainly a little bit of nervous moments in there, news from the US government, and then some interesting tokens that came to life this week, long expected Ethena stablecoin. And we're going to talk about all of this together with Stephan. But as always, we start with asking him, hey, Stephan, how was your week trading?
I'd say pretty regular, but then a little bit of drama too, because we will have a look in a couple of seconds. It was a pretty boring week if you look at it like backwards looking with hindsight, like pretty easy going. Bitcoin trading exactly as we had discussed in the podcast before, like between the boundaries below 70K and above 65K. In that void, so to say, without any real resistances from the order books, where all the other coins more or less going in lockstep here. It looks pretty much the same. ETH, yeah, as we see here. Solana as well. A little bit of ETH underperformance, I would say, in comparison because of the uncertainty around the spot ETF here and the discussions. And then, yeah, I love Doge in a way because going very much in lockstep until a couple of hours or days ago, and then you have the breakout, the regular Doge thing. So if you're in front of the screen, you can react to it, but it's like unpredictable, which makes it interesting to look at and sometimes even interesting to trade. I would say another week of another good week for traders that are in front of the screen or have good algos and bots out there. Other than that, if you compare it to other markets, I think you mentioned it already. We had a FOMC meeting, no changes, which means no surprises. And no surprises means no extra trading on top of it. Interestingly, we see all-time highs in stock markets and in gold. Again, although there is no news as well. So for me, it looks on the macro side a little bit like there is still a lot of liquidity out there. People go to stock markets. Frankly, stock markets are as what is the right word? As concentrated as crypto is. It's always so interesting that people think stock markets are so huge. Actually, all the trading, all the price appreciation that you see happens like in two handful of stocks. I mean, this is the interesting thing. It's basically very concentrated. So a lot of risks there. But because the money is there and we haven't seen inflation adjusted all-time highs in crypto yet, I think it's still a little bit sit and wait. And people rather park their money in some stocks before we see more action here. But for traders, it's still pretty good volatility in the crypto markets. As we've seen, it's like going up and down. You can do a lot of things. And then I guess everyone waits either for a slightly bigger correction and then or the breakout over and on top of the all-time highs we've seen. So that's, I would say, the next weeks or so is a little bit sit and wait and ride the waves of the ups and downs and trade and have activity there.
Yeah, as you say, right? I mean, certainly a volatile week, but not crazy. Volume in the markets was fine. People, I think that are in it for a while, they expected a correction, and the question was just how far we go down. But it stopped somewhere in the 6,800, I think was the bottom. Acceptable, right? Nothing crazy. And now it's sort of finding its range again. Obviously, the news from the FOMC helped. And then the question is, where does the money go in the end, right? With the outlook of lower interest rates, arguably there is going to be more money into stock markets and potentially into markets too, right? So it's going to be interesting to see this year. Are we actually able, as a crypto, I guess as the crypto community, are we able to outperform stocks or not? To me, that's a very interesting question this year.
I mean, it's looking into the crystal ball, right? I mean, people have convictions about macro trends. For me, it is not so much an if, it's a when. And frankly, my personal conviction is it will take some time. We have seen a massive swing in the crypto markets in the recent weeks, right? Which was great. Now I would say it will find its range. for quite some time, because money that's coming, or liquidity that's there, if I look at the US, it will go to stock markets first. I mean, don't forget, we have election year, and the pensions of Americans are dependent on the stock market. So, I mean, there is no conspiracy going on, but basically that's just how you play it. That is how it will be played. The interesting thing is what happens after the elections, from my point of view. So it's still a little bit like looking into the future, very much into the future, that I could expect that either when it's clear who will be the winner of the election, which can be way before the election itself, or thereafter, we will see more liquidity coming to the market, because then the actual, or the big fight for the US citizens and their votes will start, which means paying for it, which usually, if you look at it, money supply has gone up usually shortly before the elections and after the elections, if you have changed the government. So if you believe that, for example, Republicans will win, there is more to come, but it's still a little bit of time that we need to wait here. That's my read of the situation. I'm a little bit in for the long game, and frankly, but this is just personal. I'm hoping for a little bit of correction in Bitcoin to buy more.
Are you daring enough to go short though?
Just in the ranges. I mean, looking at what we did in the podcast, looking at resistance bands, right, and then playing around there, not going all in for a correction to 40K. No.
All right, good to know. If you were to go short, right, and just having a quick look at the funding rates, they
Yes.
have strongly normalized this week, and you'll see it shortly on the graph. Right? It's a very, very green picture, starting the 15th of March, so basically starting already the correction that's happened last Friday. And then this week, I think we really have no outliers here. It's a very green market, i.e., funding rates have gone down. Means short sellers don't get paid so much, but also means that there is a more modest expectation about any major price movement in either direction. Right?
Exactly, which means you can trade validly in the ranges we see,
Yep.
probably without being surprised too much. But you need to look at it. You need to look at, as we have discussed earlier, at open interest combined with funding rates, because if there is a new real trend coming, you should go with it and not against it. But there is no trend yet, so it's good for all of our active day traders, basically. Yeah.
All right. Excellent. Now, Stefan, you already mentioned there are some exciting projects coming, and one that we at BitMEX, but also obviously our founders are very excited about, is Athena. Arthur Hayes prominently is a big supporter, and it's a token to look out for, because it's one of the first major stablecoins that is interest paying, and it really launched this week with a governance token coming out, and with already, I think, becoming the fifth largest stablecoin in the market. Right.
Huge success. I mean, the thing about Athena I love in a way is it's a stable coin packed to the US dollar, but it's fully crypto native and fully designed in the crypto ecosystem. So it's a synthetic stable coin based on the Athena ecosystem. It pays interest more or less in lockstep once we have equilibrium with the ETH staking yields. So frankly, if you think about going into a ETH spot ETF, look for Athena. It's more cost efficient. It gives you exactly the same. It's pegged to the US dollar, and I expect that at some point in time it will be even accepted as a margining currency with the larger exchanges, and then it really will take off. And as I said, it's fully crypto native, completely in the crypto ecosystem, which gives you a benefit over the ones that need to deposit and take care of their US dollars and therefore are dependent on the US dollar correspondent banking system. So it really has something in the design. It's not just another stable coin that does everything as everyone else. It's really something else, and for the crypto natives out there. I'm pretty excited about it. We're invested in it too. As you said, Arthur is a big fan and invested there too. So watch out.
And I mean, philosophically, it's going to be super interesting, right? We will see the US government cutting rates. At the same time, there is synthetic stablecoins coming that maintain rates. And quite frankly, where rates depend on the usage of the network, and the higher the usage of the network, the higher the rates potentially. Whereas I guess in traditional fiat systems, the higher the rates, the more worried are people about the usage. So it's a very interesting dynamic, and maybe we'll even see sort of traditional money coming into stablecoins just to take the interest rates, right? Because they could be higher very soon. ETH staking is at roughly 4% currently.
Mm-hmm.
That is 2 rate cuts away, right? So, all right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Stephan.
Thank you.
It's been a very good week, and we hope that next week is going to be equally good. I remember last week we had a buy, and I think it held true because last week at this time we were below 62, and this week we're 66 right now.
Let's see.
I'm traveling, but I did bring our little dice, so let's see where it's another buy.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I'll go for it.
Within the range, as you said. Thank you very much, and have a nice weekend. Talk soon.
You too. See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.